When you think of ancient warfare, what comes to mind? Swords, shields, maybe some elephants. What if I told you that one of the most powerful empires in history had a far more insidious weapon in its arsenal? Something straight out of a modern spy thriller. Today, we're diving deep into the shadowy world of ancient India and uncovering the secrets of the Mauryan Empire's early biological warfare. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's set the stage. The Mauryan Empire, which flourished from about 322 to 185 BCE, was one of the largest empires of its time, covering most of the Indian subcontinent. Founded by Chandragupta Maurya, this empire was a powerhouse of military might, economic prosperity, and political organization. But a significant part of its success wasn't just about massive armies and brilliant generals. It was about a hidden, silent, and deadly advantage. Our main source for this incredible story is a remarkable ancient text called the Arthashastra, attributed to Chanakya, also known as Kautilya, who was Chandragupta Maurya's chief advisor. This book is basically the ultimate guide to running a state. It covers everything from economic policy to diplomacy, but it's the sections on warfare and espionage that are truly jaw-dropping. The Arthashastra isn't just a philosophical text. It's a practical, and sometimes ruthless, manual for power. So, what does it say about warfare? Well, it goes far beyond conventional tactics. The text details numerous recipes for creating potent poisons. We're talking about complex concoctions made from various plants, animals, and minerals. Think poisonous snakes, insects, and specific toxic plants, all ground up and mixed into lethal brews. These weren't just simple poisons. Chanakya categorized them based on their effects. Some were slow-acting, others were instantaneous, and some were designed to cause madness or debilitating illness rather than immediate death. How were these poisons used? One of the most common methods was poisoning water sources. Imagine an enemy army marching for days under the hot sun, desperate for water. They finally find a well or a river, only to discover that it's been contaminated. The Arthashastra recommends poisoning wells, reservoirs, and streams in enemy territory. This tactic could decimate an army before a single sword was even drawn, causing widespread sickness, panic, and a complete breakdown of morale. It was a terrifyingly effective form of psychological and biological warfare. But it didn't stop there. The Mauryans took it a step further by weaponizing their arrows and spears. The Arthashastra provides instructions on how to coat arrowheads with these deadly poisons. A small scratch from a poison-tipped arrow could be fatal. This made every soldier, even the most skilled archer, a potential deliverer of a slow and agonizing death. It changed the dynamics of the battlefield, making every wound potentially lethal and instilling a deep fear in their opponents. The text also describes using what we might call biological agents in more creative ways. One method involved releasing poisonous snakes or scorpions into enemy camps under the cover of darkness. Another fascinating, and frankly horrifying, tactic involved creating poisonous smoke. By burning a mixture of specific plants and animal parts, they could generate toxic fumes to be directed towards the enemy, causing confusion, respiratory distress, and panic. This was an early, rudimentary form of chemical warfare. Let's not forget the role of espionage. The Arthashastra outlines a sophisticated network of spies who were trained in the art of poison. These agents, often disguised as merchants, ascetics, or even entertainers, would infiltrate enemy courts and cities. Their missions were varied. They might poison the king's food, contaminate the army's grain supplies, or spread disease among the population. One particularly insidious method involved using beautiful female spies, called Vishakanyas or poison damsels. According to legend, these women were raised from a young age on a carefully calibrated diet of poison, making their own bodies toxic to others. While some of these accounts, especially the poison damsels, might be exaggerated over time, the core principles laid out in the Arthashastra are undeniable. The text provides a clear and detailed framework for using poison and disease as weapons of war. It shows that the Mauryan Empire's strategists understood the power of attacking an enemy not just physically, but biologically and psychologically. This wasn't random or barbaric, it was a calculated, strategic part of their statecraft. By using these methods, the Mauryan Empire could weaken its rivals, neutralize threats, and expand its territory with terrifying efficiency. It is a chilling reminder that the quest for power has often led humanity down dark and innovative paths. The concepts of biological and chemical warfare might seem like modern horrors, but their roots stretch back thousands of years to the very foundations of one of history's greatest empires. So, what do you think? Is the Arthashastra a manual for brilliant statecraft or a guide to ruthless evil? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this journey into the dark side of ancient history as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.